Could the most expensive gamble in Atlanta Falcons history be about to reach its devastating conclusion? For years ago, we traded up to select Kyle Pitts 4th overall, convinced we were getting a generational talent who would redefine what it means to be a tight end in the modern NFL. Now, ESPN's Dan Graziano is telling us that same player might be packing his bags before the leaves change color. This isn't just another trade rumor floating around the league. This is a calculated prediction from one of the most connected insiders in the business, and it should have every Falcons fan questioning everything we thought we knew about our offensive identity moving forward. Let's be brutally honest about what Graziano is really telling us here. When an ESPN insider says he's basing his prediction on what he's not seeing, that's insider speak, for the writing is on the wall, and everyone in the building knows it. The Falcons have had ample opportunity to lock up Pitts with a long-term extension, and instead, they've chosen to let him play out his 5th-year option worth $10.878 million. That's not a decision, that's a statement. Think about the timeline here for a second. Pitts is entering year 4 of what should have been his breakout period. Most elite tight ends hit their stride in years 3 and 4, establishing themselves as legitimate offensive weapons and earning those massive second contracts. Instead, we're sitting here debating whether our former top 5 pick is even worth keeping around. That's not just disappointing, it's franchise-altering levels of catastrophic. The numbers Graziano cited paint a picture that's almost too depressing to believe. 49 receptions per season over 4 years. 10 total touchdown passes in his entire NFL career. For context, that's fewer touchdowns than some kickers score in a single season. We're talking about a player who was supposed to be our red zone nightmare for opposing defenses, and instead, he's averaging to 0.5 touchdowns per year. That's not underachieving, that's complete and total failure to meet even the most basic expectations. What makes this situation even more maddening is the missed opportunities staring us right in the face. When Darnell Mooney went down during training camp, this should have been Pitt's moment to step up and show why we invested so heavily in his potential. Instead, the coaching staff started giving increased looks to younger receivers and essentially treating Pitts like an afterthought in their offensive game planning. When your own coaches are more excited about undrafted free agents than they are about your former 4th overall pick, you know something has gone terribly wrong. The unicorn label that followed Pitts into the draft has become more of a cruel joke than an accurate description. Unicorns are mythical creatures that don't actually exist, and maybe that's the perfect metaphor for what Pitts has become in Atlanta. A player whose theoretical ceiling is so high that we've ignored the reality of his actual production for far too long. Terry Fontenot's recent comments about Pitts being in great shape and having the right mentality sound like the kind of generic praise you give to a player when you can't point to actual on-field accomplishments. When your general manager is talking about a player's work ethic and attitude instead of his statistics and impact, that tells you everything you need to know about where things stand. The timing of this potential trade makes it even more painful to consider. Michael Penix Jr. is entering his 2nd season, and by all accounts, he's got the kind of arm talent that should perfectly complement a player like Pitts. This should be the year where everything clicks, where the quarterback tight end connection becomes the foundation of our entire offensive attack. Instead, we're discussing whether it makes more sense to trade Pitts away and start over with that draft capital. From a business perspective, I understand the hesitation to commit long-term money to Pitts. Tight ends, even elite ones, don't typically command the same market value as quarterbacks or pass rushers. But there's a difference between being fiscally responsible and giving up on a player who still has tremendous upside at just 24 years old. The nightmare scenario here is obvious, and every Falcons fan should be losing sleep over it. Imagine Pitts getting traded to a team like Kansas City, Buffalo, or San Francisco and immediately becoming the dominant force we always believed he could be. Picture him catching touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen while we're stuck wondering what could have been if we just found the right way to utilize his talents. This situation represents everything that's been wrong with this franchise. For the past decade, we identify talent, we invest heavily in it, but we can't seem to develop it or put players in positions to maximize their potential. Whether that's a coaching issue, a scheme fit problem, or a player development failure, the end result is always the same. Another high draft pick leaving Atlanta without reaching his ceiling. The trade deadline is still months away, but the foundation for a potential Pitts departure is already being laid. If younger receivers continue to impress during the regular season, and Pitts continues to produce underwhelming numbers, the decision might make itself. Sometimes the most painful moves are also the most necessary ones. What's particularly frustrating is the waste of resources this represents. We didn't just draft Pitts 4th overall. We traded up to get him, giving up additional draft capital in the process. We've invested for years of development time, coaching resources, and salary cap space in a player who might walk away having never truly impacted winning in Atlanta. The September 7th opener against Tampa Bay suddenly takes on even more significance. This isn't just about starting the season strong. It's potentially about Kyle Pitts proving he deserves to finish it in a Falcons uniform. Every target, every catch, every missed opportunity will be magnified under the microscope of trade. Speculation. This is gut check time for everyone involved. Pitts needs to prove he can be the game-changing weapon we drafted him to be. And the coaching staff needs to prove they can design an offense that maximizes his unique skill set. If both sides can't figure it out quickly, we might be looking at one of the most disappointing chapters in recent franchise history coming to an end. What do you think, Falcons Nation? Is it time to cut our losses with Pitts and get what value we can in a trade? Or should we be doing everything possible to unlock his potential before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and smash that like button. If you think this franchise needs to make some serious decisions about maximizing the talent we have, the clock is ticking, and every game matters when it comes to determining Kyle Pitts' future in Atlanta.